Alright, we are ready.
This god among men has tasted the sweat and blood of Faker himself. He has been blessed with Faker's abilities to outplay any opponent in the mid lane. The side effect, lack of better judgment, and
Alright.
split pushing until a worthy
Are
opponent.
we streaming right now or no?
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
Oh, right now we're on?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
For anybody in chat who has questions about the previous games, feel free. We're trying to keep these games smoother and a little faster, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, so I don't want to screenshot this. I need to screenshot this.
Here. For those in Streamland, this is what I look like in real life.
He looks like a scrubby dubby, right? Everyone agrees
Yeah,
that he
we're
looks
talking
like
about
he's
in
in
chat.
bronze. Looks like he's in bronze, everyone knows this. I'm still upset that Horse hasn't streamed himself wearing a horse mask
It's
in like full scrubs, but
Patreon money. I should have a horse mask right now. Alright. So this is game 3 of Trinity Force Bronze Boot Camp. Every Saturday at noon, we usually do 3 games, unless one is ridiculously long. It's for players Silver 5 and below to receive feedback from a great group of higher elo players on how to improve their gameplay and climb through the ranks. Had a lot of Bronze Boot Camp graduates do really well recently, and we've even had some go on to Gold and Platinum. We also have Battle Arena on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Same concept, Gold 1 and below. Great stuff. If you're interested in finding out about any of that, for those of you new, I saw somebody in Twitch chat, trinityforcenetwork.com, Battle Arena tab, Community tab. This website's pretty much your go-to source for everything. So I'd definitely give it a look. The clock. Alright.
Sorry, I'm just reading what Whale X Bow Bow is saying on Reddit. I will share these pictures with everyone in the live stream. Here you go. Enjoy this.
Wait, is Kotor banning?
I don't know, hopefully.
Well, you said give me a minute, and then people were like, is everyone ready? And then they were like, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Alright,
there
he's
you go.
back.
Okay, there he is. What can we say? People that play League of Legends are impatient.
Gets one
least I am.
ban, decides to ban Bard.
I call for a recount. We're not getting bans. Alright. Looks like we're gonna start game up again. I'm sorry. Somebody may have missed it. We can just restart game really quickly.
Yeah, I know.
We beat Whale on Lee in Team Builder. It's not very hard. Whale may seem scary in lane, but you have to remind yourself that he's still a mid-gold player.
Just wait till he starts split pushing.
But Whale is the epitome of showing you that you only have to learn one thing, whether it's CS or mechanics, and then it doesn't matter what, but you're not gonna get far past gold after that.
I'll tell you guys in stream too, real talk, if you want to improve in elo, and like, I don't know, let's say you think your mechanics are really bad in lane phase, learning the last hit fixes so many things. Because once it's automatic and you don't have to think about it, you just think about playing lane, and you just immediately become like tiers better. It's
the way I like to think about it is you watch streamers and like YouTube videos of like higher level players when it comes to decision making, and then you play custom games in order to fix your mechanical issues / CSing issues.
That's the one thing I play solo queue at a pretty high level, and I have for a while, and I watch a decent amount of LCS. And I think the games are vastly different. And even when I watch Masters and Challenger, I think the one thing you can learn a lot, and the decision making is also very different. And decision making in Diamond, you don't need it because your 4 teammates will have it, and they'll just tell you where to go. But the one thing that's very translatable, and for people who want to take something from LCS, team fighting.
Yep.
Everyone in LCS is really good at team fighting. But
Supports understand that their life is for ire.
I'll plug this one more time. So this is, I don't know, this is like the epitome of Bronze Boot Camp. If you want to improve and you want to be, I don't know, out of Bronze Boot Camp and Battle Arena, really, T-Force Network Reddit, check this out. It's a pretty good CS guide. I hate to keep plugging it myself, but I don't really think there's a CS guide that's that much better. So I'll continue to do so. It has a video. It has a slideshow. It's good stuff. To climb, you need to rotate 24/7. Alright. We got ourselves a Monte Cristo. We just need to rotate 24/7. Yeah, I'll keep rotating to the shop to spend my gold from last hit in.
KOTOR, you better not disappoint us. We were hyping up those blitz hooks. Now I
Yeah,
expect
we've been hyping you up.
we expect 100% like blitz hook lands. I don't care if you got to do 360 flashers. You're doing it.
Alright, so picking Sona into Blitz, pretty cocky. I think that's a pretty bad lane for Sona. Ooh! Alright, so this is not what a Sona player wants to see. Twisted Fate and Blitzcrank on the same team.
Ona's not gonna have a fun time.
That's what my brother and I used to do when we smurfed. We just pick like aggressive AD carry and Twisted Fate. Like, I don't know, Draven or Twisted Fate. And if they had Sona or something, the Sona would just go like 0-10. TF is good. Alright. Ezreal's pretty iffy into Sona though. But if you're comfortable with Ezreal, pick Ezreal. It's all good.
Yep.
Nasus is really tricky. If the other team is hard engaged, sometimes you want to be scared to pick Nasus because they'll just 4v5 your team. And TP works, but TP doesn't work that well.
Oh
guys,
guys, these pro strats of clarity and clairvoyance.
Yeah, on Aatrox.
Sadly, we can't see the 5-man revive squad anymore.
Oh. Purple's team's kind of iffy for me right now. They're pretty low damage. I'd like to see an AD carry that does a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of shields though. Good comp. I'd like to play AD carry here.
I feel like if you're gonna pick Blitzcrank, like as an ADC, you really want someone more aggressive. Whether it's like Draven, Graves. I just generally don't see Ezreal as in like all-in / upfront burst champion.
He can be at 6. Before 6, he struggles. And Blitz is a pretty good pre-6. But they have TF, so TF subjugates a lot of that. Let's see Ergot. I'd like to see Ergot as well, Andrew. A little 230.
God damn it, Declad. That is all.
Everyone following the stalker method. Running nothing but blues.
I like Lee Sin here. If you play Lee Sin and you have Twisted Fate, it's pretty good. It's Purple Team scales well, but if you pick all mid game and you have a pretty good pick comp, might as well try it. It may not work, and sometimes pick comps fall flat on their face in solo queue, but Lee Sin TF is one of my favorite, so we'll see how it goes. I'll see you later, Declad. Thanks for stopping in. Lanes. Kate Sona should stomp Blitz Ezreal, unless they get hooked. Even if they get hooked, it's important to know that a lot of times you can fight a hook, unless you get one shot, so it's...
Whoa.
Could be iffy. Blitz Ezreal just needs to really make sure they do a good job of communicating whether summoner spells are down or not. They have Lee Sin and TF, so bot lane should just be 4-manned constantly.
I will say, like, let's just pick early on. I really would have liked to see more, I guess, anti-blitz champions on the enemy team, like an Amumu or a Galio, something that punishes Blitz for pulling said person in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Garen. Garen versus Lulu.
Not gonna be a fun time for him.
Yeah, Garen's pretty
much.
rough too because he can't fall back on like a ton of CC or a great late game. If you pick Garen into a bad lane, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're gonna want to try to bait the glitter lance from Lulu, just so you can use your Q onto Lulu. If not, it's just gonna be a kite all day, and you're not gonna have fun.
Honestly, this lane is gonna come down to, can Garen out-sustain Lulu's mana, and then from there after he's gonna just deal with poking autos. But at the very least, he'll be able to zone her to some extent.
Mm-hmm. And Garen could get a Spectre's Cow, really. Spectre's Cow can help deal with Lulu. I'd like to see that. Jungle matchup, Lee Sin abuses Aatrox. Don't look for 1v1s, but Lee Sin's better in most 2v2s, and Lee Sin just ganks better. Seeing a lot of these though, and it's tricky because I keep saying it's a bad jungle matchup, but the team with the bad jungle matchup is winning these games. But you need to recognize that sometimes champions that can fall back on CC are really strong, especially in lower elo. And if you pick a Lee Sin or Zinzao or something, and you don't get those ganks off, you put yourself and your team in a really bad place. So recognize the win conditions, and if you really want to get better and play those champions, actively work towards it, but it can be really difficult. Bot lane, we talked about that. Mid lane, TF versus Kasten. Alright, I've played this lane a lot. Pretty hard for TF. Kasten's melee, look for red cards on creeps. Especially gold card's predictable because you have to run up to Kasten, and he can Q pretty easily when it comes off. Red will flip after the previous card, and he can do it quickly, and you just flip red, you auto the creeps, and it splashes Kasten over and over again. You can also auto attack Kasten a lot. I'd like to see hybrid pen runes in this lane possibly, but overall, the best you're probably going to get on TF is 5 or 10 CS advantage. One of the things you can do though is use red cards, push it in early, and harass Kasten, then when wave comes back, freeze it in front of your tower, and let Lee Sin get ganks off. One of the mistakes I see a lot of people make is they bully Kasten, but they bully him by keeping him into tower. But Kasten's very hard to gank at 6, and you want to gank him before 6. So bully him with the frozen lane, if you can or you know how. Chat is saying like Lee Sin has 70% win rate in Diamond, but you can't get your ult off correctly, and you're trash and you have 30%. Yeah, I don't like that though. I think that's one of the biggest differences I have between a lot of community members and coaches. Is I don't think somebody should necessarily play a champion because they're certain elo. I recognize that certain champions are stronger at a certain level of skill and mechanics, but I want to help people get better at whatever they want to play because it's fun for them. So,
not to mention, like, eventually, what's good here or there is irrelevant in terms of like the skill gap. Like, yeah, something might be OP at some point, but that gap becomes progressively less relevant the higher up in play you get. Unless something's like super blatantly broken, like someone can one-shot you.
Like Rise right now. No, he's not. I don't know, he has weaknesses, but sometimes he's out of control.
Kind of why, like, even during like the whole phase with Sejuani, there would be a lot of points where she wasn't banned.
She wasn't really banned. Once I got, like, I don't know, once I started playing more ranked and I got out of like 2K MMR, I stopped seeing Sedge ban. Just because she gets... Solo queue is a lot more about early game than professional play. And Sedge's early game isn't crazy, and people know how to fan out in team fights so you don't get wombo ults as much.
That's why duelist jungles were so strong for a while, because it's like they had a really good early game.
They still are. Like, the meta right now that I'm seeing in my games is Gragas, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, Rengar, who else? Jarvan. Jarvan's so good. I'm sure I'm missing some, but generally, like, early game over everything. If you're a good jungler and you can pull it off, it's... I don't know. Lee Sin's win rate is bad in Plat Plus. I don't know. I'll explain something about higher elo for those who may or may not play it. A lot of people one-trick ponies. And they get really salty when they don't get their roll. Like, really, really salty. And they'll just pick Lee Sin or Vayne or Draven, and they'll pick whatever's fun for them, but they're, like, oftentimes they're terrible at it. So you get a lot of people who don't play jungle, and when they have to jungle, they just pick Lee Sin and they can't play it, and it's kind of a disaster. But the Lee Sin mains I see, who aren't picking Lee Sin because they're salty, are still doing really well. There's a lot of salt. And loading in. Gonna look at runes and masteries. Whoa. Blitz, what do you got? The Blitz, you want armor yellows. You should probably be getting Targons for the sustain in lane, and you don't want 10 AP here. This is a pretty iffy rune page, but he's pre-30, so I'm gonna lay off on him. He may just not have the IP for it.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have the IP when you're especially level 28.
TF, I don't like this page. I don't think Flask is good into casting. I think you should have a Dawn's Ring. But TF and Blitz are two champions. I don't know, actually, on Blitz, I think you should just go Q at the last possible second. I think sometimes Flash Power Fist is like a guaranteed 100% kill with TF, because Gold Card can hit where they flash hook. And sometimes you'll walk up to this bush as a team, and somebody will face check, and it's better to just flash fist. But hook is good too. And it's the importance of buying early. If Ezreal had bought earlier, he probably would have been up there to do something about it. And they may have gotten Aatrox's passive or kill him.
They would have, because they didn't pop an ignite.
Diamond is elo hell. Yeah, Diamond is elo hell.
All ranked is elo hell.
No, it's worse. Because you get the same people are queuing into each other over and over again, and people just queue up when they're salty, and they get the people that they're salty with on their team, and it's just like, imagine that your teammates fighting in bronze if they have to play each other in the next game.
That happened. Like, if anyone ever wants an example of that, like, once you hit gold, try to play at like 3 in the morning and just see how often you run into people. It's like, god damn it.
You get to Diamond and play at like 7 a.m. Oh. When I was D1 in Season 3, I'd play before my 8 a.m. class. Same guys every morning for an entire season. A lot of Masters Challenger players on Blitzcrank start Spell Thieves.
Blitz really just screwed over Aatrox.
I'd have to see it. I don't really agree with that, and I play a lot of Blitz. You may be right, either. But I don't think you are. But if you can show me a link to pro builds or something, I'd like to see it. No, I'm not calling you out. I'm actually curious.
Yeah, I disagree with it as well. I don't think you get enough like spell rotations enough to make it worth it.
I think if you do it, you certainly wouldn't do it in a Kate Sona lane. Like, I start Mana Crystal on Blitz 99% of the time. No, like, most lanes are Targons.
Yeah. Targons, or even I see pros now going Talisman.
Yeah. Depends, hard lane or easy lane.
Yeah.
Kate Sona is not an easy lane.
Have you guys tried mana glyphs at all for Blitz?
No, I think that's troll.
Alright.
Yeah. If you're playing Sona too, like, I don't know. I keep saying Sona Kate, but Sona's a lot of magic damage. Yeah, if really wants to get auto attacks in. Keep red carding. Just red card. Hit him, hit the creeps. It's good stuff. Don't be so obvious about it and run up to him. Just act like you're CSing normally, and then once you cycle to red, like, I don't know, it goes blue, red, gold, blue, red, gold. So blue, red. Just walk up like you're about to blue, but don't lock blue, block red really fast and hit him. That doesn't give him enough time to queue it most of the time. You're telegraphing your reds really hard, which is kind of the issue I'm seeing here. Lee Sin recalled. Of course, I've been seeing pros play Blue Ash. What's blue? I think they're trolling. I mean, Blue Ash might be good, but every professional player and high elo player I've seen is building IE, crit item, Last Whisper, BT, standard 80 carry on Ash.
Yeah, again, if you see like an off build, link it to us and we'll see if it's true or not.
I'll give you
And I
guys
will
another
say-
talk about copying pro high elo player builds and pro builds. A lot of people test stuff out in ranked, and a lot of people don't care if they win or lose sometimes because they're salty people in previous games, or they just don't care. So there are a lot of
but you
builds in
should-
there you don't want to copy.
Yeah.
Should straight up not ever get spell thieves, and yeah, that's all I should say.
Did you check pro
for the-
builds?
Yeah, no, I just checked that build, and I'm just saying, like, you're not gonna. There is no matchup in which you should get off enough rotations to make it worth more than Targon's would be worth.
Yeah, check pro builds, and I checked all 50 of the last Blitzcrank games, and no one ever went spell thieves.
Yeah, I think he's talking about one specific person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about one person that seemingly did it time.
LPL build it. It might be good. I have to see more people do something before I'm gonna say it's good. And I don't play Ashe at a master tier level, so I'm not gonna say it's good myself because I'm not good enough at Ashe to make that distinction.
I'm not sure why it would be good per se, but
I see the reasoning behind Spell Thief Blitz. I mean, his AP ratios, and it gives you a little more mana regen and extra damage. I don't think it's something you'd want to buy in a hard lane. I think it's like the most aggressive early buy you could go with. And you need to A, be confident in your blitz, and B, you can't go feast or famine as hard. So, I don't know. If it's a hard lane, I would still get Targons. And recognize the sample size. Pro builds, nobody's doing it. You know one guy that does it. That's not a good sample size to back your case. And Blitzcrank isn't a very item-dependent champion, so...
yeah, you could literally build anything on Blitzcrank. It's good on him because of the fact that the way they made Blitzcrank makes it so he benefits from every single stat in the game that isn't attack speed. He gets something from AD, he gets something from AP, he gets something from mana, armor, MR, health.
Mhm.
It's just a stat party with Blitzcrank.
The CS in this game is a lot better. It's good to see.
That's why I like to say that whoever plays Blitzcrank in Ultimate Bravery is a scumbag, because it's like anything you build on him is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mana Moon is okay for Ashe.
Like I said, I personally don't see why like blue build would be good on Ashe. Like she already had like her ability to kite's already maximized by the fact that she has like all like this innate ability to slow, stun, and her volley. I
Mhm.
don't see why that'd be amplified by a blue build.
What other blue item would you
reason-
get? Is it just tier Ashe?
Like I can see why Ezreal does it because he has the
Wow.
like
Nice
ability to
Whoa.
kite. Oh, that much. I think she meant to her
Mm-hmm.
net first and then
Alright.
flash, but
So let's talk about builds a little bit less and get back to the game. This bush is warded. They really had no reason to get ganked here. If you're going to go for a ward in this bush to get vision of them, get it as deep in the bush as you can to deal with lane ganks. But good lane gank. Good gank top as well.
Yeah.
Puts
You have to
Lulu in a
remember,
pretty good
as
spot.
Garen, that your Q as well is also a slow disabled. So if she does glitter lands you, if it does land, Q right away, and you should have no problem catching up to her.
TF is doing well. This is kind of what I talked about. TF just wants to get a CS lead. He's got ultimate. He
Ooh.
should be looking at bot or top.
and she's dead.
So
Here come the blitz hooks we promised.
yeah, TF is gone. So when you're playing it to TF, it's really important to communicate flash cooldowns. So someone's about to flash, and one,
Oh, that
you
blue
should
card.
have gold locked in. It should have been 100% kill, but two, just time flashes if you have TF on your team, or just get used to timing flashes if you play any lane. TF, the one thing I'll say is whether you know someone does or doesn't have flash there, know that Blitz can hook after you gold. So I would have ulted in gold and held gold for a second or two to bait her flash and then just gold and pull. But that's personally what I would have done. I think sometimes you can bait out summoner spells on TF ganks. As long as your bot lane has follow up CC. If they don't be as greedy. But you get a summoner bot. That'll be the lane you want to go back to. Recognizing the snowball potential of your lanes is important for TF or jungle. And your bot lane can snowball pretty hard, and your top lane is Garen. So you're going to be going bot every time. And if you're interested in playing TF, I will link a guide after this. But yeah, Twitch chat's right. You lock in when you're channeling. Nothing too complex there.
It just takes time to get used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll have your ability bar kind of where the scoreboard is, and you'll have your card right above the ability bar. You just want to look at the ability bar, and you'll see your card, and you lock with that. Keston's starting to play really passively. I haven't seen him walk up to Q yet. Shouldn't he start jumps to that lane with levels? He doesn't want to walk up in Q because then he can't walk up to CS for until Q is up again because TF has his summoners. Don't flash. Alright. Don't blow summoner spells when they're already dead. But Keston in this lane he needs to use Q reactively. And he's doing well. I think he's just missing a few more CS than he needs to.
Yeah, when TF uses W, Keston wants to use Q as well, so he doesn't get stunned from anything.
Mm-hmm. And if Keston uses Q to harass, he's melee. He has to step up to hit that CS in a few seconds, so he really needs to be careful.
Yeah.
The one time he can use Q to harass is he not gonna have to CS for a few seconds. Like right here, he could, but maybe not because of this one. Bot lane, the God Hand. Lulu's doing really well in CS. Tsunomic's pretty solid. Got his last hitting. And good job. Red team's really stepped it up with the vision. In Keston, you need blue buff. Sometimes you need a blue buff and sustain. Just force hard trades over and over again. Even if you kind of lose the train a little bit, you can chug pots and mana. He can't. He's going to have to start blue card trading.
Keston's Q cannot cancel TF ults. It is no longer a silence anymore.
Doesn't it cancel interrupts though?
No.
And interrupts channels.
Yeah.
Is it TF ult?
Channels, right? Maybe?
Yeah, I believe it interrupts.
Yeah, it's a very short channel, and
Are you
you have to
all
wait
right.
for him to start the teleport. You can't do it right when he activates ult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It interrupts. It doesn't silence, but it interrupts, I think. I kind of remembered that.
Interesting, alright.
So it's good. This is the other time it's really good. Wow, just gold card. This is the other time it's really good to ultimate on TF, is to counter gank. And a lot of times you'll have the jungler come to gank a lane, and it'll be a lane right there, slightly stronger because the jungler is there, but you could win it 3v3, and if you just get TF, you can really abuse it. Ooh, oh wow. Alright, so Ezra, you could have, oh, he didn't have mana, never mind.
He still would have been fine.
Well, I was gonna say if he had mana, he could just Q ulted her and killed her. Garen. Just keep up in CS, get tanky. I'm not a fan of Garen, and this is like the worst situation to be playing Garen in. But you can be tanky, and just min-max. You'll have bad games, but making them not be as bad as they could be is a positive. Aatrox, I don't think boots of mobility is something he ever built on Aatrox. He doesn't gank well enough early to really warrant it, and he really wants to be bruiser-ish. But I like the Cinderhulk. I think the build on Aatrox right now is Cinderhulk into like lifesteal item and tank. Aatrox first came out, he was really popular, but he did really poorly, and as people were building full damage on him. And I think Aatrox does like the best with one lifesteal item and full tank. And maybe like a couple hybrid damage items like Maw Mortalis and Hex Drinker. But he generally doesn't want to stack offensive items. Or double lifesteal. I see a lot of people do that. Like first, second, like the Olaf did last game. Generally, I don't know any champion that goes lifesteal first, second. So, not something you want to do. Hit board. Hit blade.
Oh.
Blade and Hydra are both okay. So, Hydra is a better item than Blade for any type of combat on Aatrox because of how well he synergizes with the attack speed and stuff like that. That being said, why Hydra is a viable option is it lets you farm the map so quickly that you can just farm and gank, farm and gank, farm and gank, and it gives you more pressure. So sometimes you don't want to think about only what an item gives you, because if that was the case, people wouldn't build Hydra nearly as much as they did. Sometimes like how much presence and pressure you have on the map is important. So TF, I'd run out to your tower next time to give your teammates an easier time to react and give yourself a better route of escape. I don't know what running up mid lane did there. In Blitz, recognize that Cass is going to hook. Walk up to him, press laugh really quickly. It's the same animation as hook. Try and beta a pull and hook there. Leading with hook is greedy. Sona, you know Lee is there for lane gank. I don't know why you're doing that.
Also, Lee Sin should maybe save his Q for when Sona does flash, but
I see our luckily our Blitzcrank has been landing many more hooks.
He's doing a good job. And
Didn't
build's
hype
pretty
it.
standard.
Didn't hype him up for no reason.
TF, you want to decide what item you're going to buy. You have 3 components. Not a build I like. I do like that he's going Abyssal at some point here, though. You're playing against double AP Sona, so Abyssal is useful. As Castanetis would have fought that. But TF's making a good play, though, recognizing he just needs to take down mid lane tower. Warding's a little better too. I feel like this game is quite a bit higher level than our previous 2 games. Warding is better, CS is better.
I will say, like, Aatrox, if you're gonna go like defensive because you realize that you're not necessarily winning, yes, in the game, and you're gonna go Cinderhulk, at that point you might as well just going tanky instead of transitioning back into offensive building.
I think if he had tanky boots, he could get a lifesteal. But it's iffy. It may just be good for him to get like Hex Drinker and then sit or something like that. But his build should be tank centric.
Also, Blitz, I'd like to like you buying a pink or 2, like whenever you go back, just to have them in your inventory. If you have to move them up.
Yeah.
He has one out. I like to have one in the inventory just like it either gets taken out or you need to move your wards forward. Having a pink in your inventory always reminds you of that.
Yeah, Garen's Q does break all slows. And as far as his boots goes, probably Merc Treads would have been the better choice here.
Yeah, he's playing against double AP Sona.
Yeah.
So we talked about Swifties a bit last game. I understand that Lulu has a slow. It's frustrating. Castan's E is a slow too. Generally, just like they're so situational, I would say it's almost safe to never buy them. Because even in a circumstance where they are the best boot, which is like 2 out of 100 games, the second best choice isn't that much worse even in those games.
Yeah, because it reduces the duration of said slow.
I don't know why Garen plays. People play Garen and low elos. I just don't think Garen's incredibly strong. Oh wait, Chucks.
You just play whatever you think is good. If you find Garen fun, go right ahead.
I don't think you should. I don't know. I don't think all low elo players necessarily have terrible mechanics, and I don't think playing champions that are quote unquote have no mechanics is like the best way to approach climbing.
Like,
So,
yeah, Gary might not have like high mechanical skill, but you still need to have good decision making of when to go in, when to fight your opponent.
mhm.
You
When
still
to
need to have
run in
general
and out.
basis.
Yeah, when to run in and run out of bushes.
Yeah.
Sadly, we don't see Bushwookie Garen much anymore, but
You still need to understand how to use your Q in a trade and how to use move speed to kite and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I'll talk about that a little bit. If you're playing a melee champion top into a range champion, using bushes is pretty useful because they can't auto you in bushes and they have to A-click to walk in or use the bush correctly. So cutting range in and out of bushes will let you kind of close distance sometimes. Playing the bushes is important. Melee and ranged. For ranged, it lets the melee not see you as easily. Yeah, if you really need to pick your card before you ult, man. Does Lisa, and you really want to ward hop here and kick her back? No, that.
Oh,
Blitzcrank.
Nice play.
Drifting people since 2009. That's when League of Legends entered beta, right? I'm not crazy.
I think it's not necessarily low mechanical champions are good for learning how to play the map. If you want to learn how to play the map, one, we talked about playing champions at globals can help, especially someone like Shen, who recently got buffed and is pretty strong right now. And two, playing the same champion over and over again. I talked about this a little bit with CS, but mental processing is a thing. You can only think about so many things at once. And if last hitting is one of those things you have to think about, or like very simple champion mechanics are things you have to think about, you won't be able to focus on the map or CSing. So how do you fix that? You play the same champion 100 times.
I personally think that like people like older people like, you know, clearly all the old people which are like above 20, duh. But like just people that don't have their reflexes like as well as people in their youth per
Your
se.
reflexes don't
Like,
degrade until you're 30.
I was making a joke. I
Okay.
don't really mean that everyone above 20 is old. But like people that have like slower reflexes, like I do think people like that should play like champions that are less mechanically involved because it lets you focus on other things other than, oh, I have to aim this or that.
Mm-hmm. I actually
Like
heard that the other day. People were talking about like a pro league player saying he had to retire because he's 25 and his mechanics are too bad. And I kind of thought that sounded stupid, especially just considering most ping pong professionals are in their 30s. So instead of looking at Reddit, I did the correct thing and went to Google Scholar and found some university research on reflexes and reaction time. And it actually, your reflexes get faster until you hit about 30 or late 20s, and that's your peak, and then they get slightly slower. But your reflexes at 20 and your reflexes at 40 or 45 are about the same. And your reflexes at 30 are probably the best they're going to get. And if anyone would like a link to that, I have it. But
that, or you guys can all like call your like just drink a bunch of coffee and be hyperactive, and maybe you guys will learn how to do crazy MLG like Lisa in Call of Duty 360 no scope mechanics or something.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Might grow a third tail.
caffeine does help. That same university report covered a lot of things that inhibit or improve reaction time, and caffeine does slightly improve reaction time. So that's why Diet Coke makes me better at League of Legends. Please sponsor Trinity Force Diet Coke.
Guessing Adderall helps too.
That's my
Oh
dream.
god. Don't get me started with like that whole argument whether pro players should be allowed to take Adderall or not, even
Yeah, why
if they
not?
actually do, because it makes you so focused and so honed in that I will agree on the argument that it basically is like an enhancing drug when it comes to like your focus and
Mm-hmm.
possibly your mechanical prowess, but I don't know.
My dream
That-
is to remove this Battle Arena logo and have a Diet Coke logo, and get a case sent to my house every week.
I prefer
To
Coke
the
Zero,
game,
but
though,
whatever.
but-
Whichever happens, I'll be good with.
Did we
Coke Zero's
ever
disgusting.
catch on Caitlin's build at all?
Alright, so let's get back to the game.
Yeah.
I have a lull in the action, so we'll look at the builds. H-Hawks pretty standard. I actually like the build for Hunter Inspectors. His build is what I would recommend besides the boots and mobility. So kudos to recognize and change after the movies. Castings is pretty standard, especially if it's an Hourglass here. Caitlyn, you want to finish IE as soon as possible. Kate has a bad mid game, and if you don't have IE, it's even worse. Oh, don't walk in straight lines, guys. Rest of the builds are pretty standard in all honesty. TF bought too many components, but
like Sona doesn't have a sweeper, and Blitzcrank is the epitome of champion. Is the epitome of what happens if you're not warding or not controlling or not having ward control in your own like zone of the map, and you're gonna die. He's gonna pull you over a wall, and you're going to die because you know where you're standing right now. Just assume there's a ward there.
And news for me, I'm not going to knock any professional player here. Also recognize that these are people that play League of Legends for 10 or 12 hours a day. And while they might know specific game mechanics or a lot about the game, don't take everything they say to heart about things like mechanics or reaction time. That's why I specifically said, and why when it's something to do with reaction time or age or temperament or whatever, I don't go to Reddit and I don't ask League of Legends players. I go to Google Scholar, and I suggest you do the same.
Yes, please don't go to the place where it's just a bunch of early 20-year-olds playing video games. I'm pretty sure they don't have some type of doctorate in, I don't know, what would that be? Physiology? I don't know. I really don't. Neurology?
Yeah, something like reaction time would be neurology, probably. Or physiology.
So please don't go to unofficial places such as Reddit where it's just a circle jerk of people thinking their opinions are right.
And all this just comes from my experience. I'm in my last year of a master's program, so I value research quite a bit. Alright.
That's just my opinion.
As
being
we're
on Reddit.
going the lifesteal build, I think this is pretty standard. Good. I think builds are actually pretty good around. The CS has fallen off mid game though, so I don't know. It's one of my worst habits I had to break as a player. When I was learning, I practiced CS a lot. I got relatively good at it for the ping that I play on, and I noticed that my CS at 10 could be close to professional player, but at 30 it wasn't, and a lot of that's just me being lazy with waves in the mid game. So just remember, try and keep hitting all the CS as the game goes on. When you hit mid game, don't just burn the wave out if you can't hit them all. And you're right, Bluff MA, Kate does need to finish an item. No one on the internet knows you're an idiot. I just assume everyone on the internet's an idiot unless they have a doctorate next to their name. Scoped.
Ugh.
Be careful. Like I said, respect your health when you're playing certain champions and you're recalling. Saw that in the last game with Varus. Saw it again with Ezreal here. Yeah. Oh, it's so delayed. Alright, so when you come out of TF Ultimate, A click or attack move click, is spam it with direct input. So as soon as you come out of Ultimate, you throw a card and you don't have to click it. It'll make the reaction time of it like 1 or 200 milliseconds faster. And that's one of those things, like, I think a lot of mechanics is game knowledge and knowing to use direct input. Because it's not something that's really your ability to click fast. It's just knowing to use direct input coming out of Twisted Fatal. But be careful staying here with low mana.
Something like A-click basically remedies the idea that you have to be good at clicking things. It's like you just click a vicinity and bam.
And the new attack move click and options is great for that.
I love it. I was saying
if you have no mana.
I was saying that Riot needed to do that because I saw it on Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. I actually quit playing Heroes because they didn't have attack move on cursor. Or they didn't have any attack move, and then I saw that, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll try this game again. This is really like, you don't want to stay here.
They're just overstaying, yeah. Ezreal had no mana.
Alright, so chat. Is it always better to finish one thing before starting a second? Most of the time it is.
For the most part.
There's some items that it isn't. Spectre's Cow is actually a pretty good example of that. I was talking about in the last game with Vladimir. But it's an item that's really strong in lane. 150 base health or gen for 10 seconds after you get damage. And sometimes you need to do damage in the mid game, or you need other items too badly that you don't finish the Visage and you sit on it, but it can be incredibly strong.
Fertilizer.
Fertilizer is one of those. I'm not the biggest fan of Cutlass, actually. I think 1400 gold for 25 AD and 8% lifesteal is not a lot. I used to think that, and then I got chewed out by one of my friends who's a Masters top laner because I said it was good on Jax, and he told me I was retarded.
Gunblade.
Yeah, clearly Gunblade is the best item.
I put Gunblade on Jax sometimes.
Yeah, I personally feel that Gunblade's underrated, along with Wit's End, but what do I know? I'm a scrub.
On an AD carry, you should always be finishing your items in order. I can't really think of any exceptions. Calista might be the one.
AD carry is very linear. Like there isn't much flex which you have. It's like for the most part you have to finish your IE or you're basically screwed for the entirety of the laning phase and most of the early game team fighting.
The exceptions are occasionally. No, I don't really think it's ever that good to sit on Vamp. Calista can get recurve and sit on recurve, or she can get Vamp and sit on recurve for Hurricane. I would say Calista is the one exception to the rule I can think of on the top of my head. In chat, they say the game is over. I don't think the game is over. What do you guys think Red Team should do to come back?
Actually have some type of map control via wards. That's honestly what's really been losing the game. It's like Blitz just walks up, hooks people. No one can do anything because they don't know where Blitz is. They don't know where the wards are, and they barely are just. They're constantly put in a defensive position when they need to be doing something. Can't just be playing like I don't know what is it? Keep around. I don't know. I don't remember words of games anymore. But they're just chasing people around in circles, and that's how you just slowly lose a game.
Yeah, they're playing more reactive than proactive, and they're just slowly dying out here. They need to start forcing something here.
It's becoming evident the vision issue for everyone on Streamland. I've had Red Team's vision up for a minute or two. Isn't fun to playing with, and you can kind of see why Sona has 10 deaths here. Through lack of warding and lack of sweeping, can't really do much or see much, whereas Blue Team can see all of this. I mean, the map is lit up, very easy to make plays, so on and so forth.
And it's been like that all game.
Oh, I literally mean it's over, the game is done. Alright. Well, it looks like the game will end in a minute or two.
Let's see Red Team come back.
Yeah. I think Tsunami is going to Pentakill. TF, man, please block a card during ult.
That's what I do, and I'm bad at, like... Yeah, TF. I'm really bad at TF, honestly. TF and Arya that do like AP mids that I am just atrocious with.
The TFUs have to put in the time.
Like their playstyle, like I'm good at TF late game, early game. I'm just abysmal with them.
Sona. Alright. Pretty good game by both teams. I think the level of the game was higher. CS was good and both teams played generally well. So, win or lose, you don't get much IP for this and you don't get any LP. So, the most important thing is learning. And we'll go over some of that once the Nexus dies.
You get LP in my heart.
Yep.
Not worth much, but I guess you can exchange it at your local Costco.
Tsunami having some fun. Costco. I wish we had a Costco so bad here.
It's the best.
We have a Sam's Club. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's go kill Taco and steal his Costco.
Hide your kids. Unfortunately, this is the last game. But check out all 3 games of Battle Arena and Bronze Boot Camp. Bronze Boot Camp Saturday at noon Eastern Time. Battle Arena 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll show you the website to check that out afterwards. And let's view advanced details.
Right. Yeah, I'll post a link where you guys can sign up so you guys can play BBC or Ballerina Thursdays and Saturdays.
No, Tsunomic, there isn't a Costco in Maine, I've looked. Tsunomic lives in Maine as well.
You people are living in that thing people call a part of the U.S. that's basically an island.
Yeah, it's Canada. Blitzcrank. I think we talked about you could move pinks up a little more throughout the game. But I didn't see a lot Blitz needed to do, in all honesty. Did you guys? Maybe start Targans. I think you could have gotten him punished a little harder if the Sona and Kate were better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Twisted
Though
Fate. Oh, go for it.
I like to rule of thumb, at least for me. It's if it's a poke lane, I generally go either Doran Shield or I go Yellow Trinket, which is why I can't completely like knock him on going Talisman. But in the way this lane turned out, he could have gone Tire Guns.
So TF, really get used to walking in like you're gonna blue card a creep, and then as soon as it flips to red, have the auto attack leaving your hand so you get their hats off before casting Qs. That's how you play that matchup. It's how you play a lot of Twisted Fate matchups against melee champions, or even range when you run red card them on the wave. You red card by acting like you're about to CS with blue and just letting it flip to red and letting auto leave your hand. You don't red card by locking red card and walking up to them with red card. Also, finish an item. Sat in a lot of components for a long time. Build was generally good. The 2 tiers are troll. I get that. Ezreal, work on CS early game and work on not queuing the wave so much. You should be generally auto-attacking the wave and trying to queue champions. Blitzcrank kind of carried you through lane, but same thing as the last time. In team fights, really get your W on champions, keep passive up, do a good job. Garen, you did a good job getting Spectre's Cow early like we recommended to get you through the early game. For both top laners and every top laner in every BBC or Battle Arena game ever. TP usage still pretty iffy. Could have done more. And the Swifties buy wasn't what I would have done. Lee Sin, that Thorn Mail should be random ones, and I like your build a lot. Could pressure the game more early, and you really need to practice the Q into ward hop into ult combo. Your Q, I don't know, not being able to ward hop on Lee Sin kills your engage potential really badly. Lulu, I don't know, I didn't see a lot Tsunomic did poorly. Did you guys?
No, I would say he did a job like kiting for the most part, but like nothing really like substantial happened top lane.
Yeah, generally what I saw is that he uses Glitter Lance at times when it wasn't appropriate to harass Garen. If Garen was used his Q a little bit more better, he would have abused you and probably would have killed you. Just every time he Qs, you Q as well.
Mm-hmm. And Sona, we touched on not upgrading. Generally when you get Sidestone, you should be upgrading a sweeper. Also, we touched on support core items. You want those Mobies, you want that sweeper. Your team's vision control is one of the huge reasons you guys lost. So, be cognizant of those things. Also, a lot of components. Really, try and finish an item, try and pink more, try and sweep more. Get those boots. Let's see what else.
I want to say that this game was the peak of demonstrating that vision wins.
Yep. Talisman, Cassidon. Build was generally good. You could Q trade a little better. Also, when you have 4 consumables in lane and Twisted Fate's out of mana without pots, if you have blue, you need to go a lot harder on him. And your mid-game farm fell off really hard. So look for farm, look to scale a little more, and just work on understanding the 1v1 matchup. If you can consistently play lanes well and get 90 CS at 10 and like 150 CS at 15 on Caston, he just scales so hard there's nothing people can do about it. But you need to be able to do that first. Aatrox, good build besides the Mobies. Good example of what we talked about in chat, sitting on Skeptor's Cow. Could have got punished a little bit hard. I mean, your team did get punished really hard. It's difficult because you want to go full tank here, but you're playing Aatrox, who isn't. He kind of wants 1 damage item, so I think Ninja Tabbies or Merc Treads would have fixed a lot of the issues you were having. But a lot of it's if you're playing jungle and your team falls behind, you can get put in a bad spot. So prioritize objectives. Both junglers, smite raptors more, and just help carry your team through bad lanes. If you notice a blitz lane doing really well too, it's not a bad lane to camp. You know that blitz is probably gonna hook people, so try and find 3v2s, especially kind of. TS first holds about 3 minutes. It's a little less if he's CDR, Rinse, or Blue, so you can say a little more than 2 minutes. So look for times to gank when TF doesn't have ult, so you don't get kind of ganked in the 3v3. Okay, finish an item, work on CS, and work on avoiding blitz hook. You and Sona, I talked about this. You want to click very close to your character to make yourself unpredictable. It's like you're a boxer. You're ducking and weaving. If you're a chicken running in a straight line, it's very easy to get hooked. Alright, and stats. Probably just not enough greens and not enough pinks. Pinks are poor, greens were really poor. So, anybody notice anything else?
No.
No. Went to
Nothing.
that fast. Alright, cool. Alright, thank you guys for joining us. If you want any more information, feel free to check out trinityforcenetwork.com, Battle Arena tab, Community tab, a lot of good stuff in here, and we'll see you for Battle Arena and Bronze Boot Camp next week. I don't want to log out.
Maybe.